Here we go. Hi, everybody. I am putting everything together so that I can share with you some information about the writing camp that's coming up. I'm on both TikTok and YouTube right now, doing a little bit of live so that we can share that information. Before I get started, I figured I'd tell you a little bit about me. My name is Stephanie, and I host an online community called the Rebel Dream Lab. And in that community, sometime last year, I decided that I needed some additional accountability. I was working on a book, my second nonfiction book, and decided I needed to get some additional accountability so I could finish my book. One of the things that I decided to do was run a writing camp. And at the time I was, and still am, a moderator for the Neurodivergent Publishing Lounge, or the Neurodivergent Writing Lounge. And I joined them, and I decided to open it up and make it free. And while I was doing that, I curated a bunch of information and then decided to kind of make this a regular thing. So we did one in November of 2024, and then we did another one in April of 2025. And I found that being part of the writing camp not only helped me, but it also helped the other authors that were there and the other editors that had joined us so that they could make sure that they were getting their work done too, whether that was editing a book, reading a book, or whether that was writing their book. I'm going to share this with a couple of people that I know online and see if we can get some additional authors into our TikTok space. So I'm going to be running this camp again this year. And what I'd love just to have you all do is write in the chat if you have any questions or if you are curious about anything. One of the things that I really love to do is, hi, Sam, welcome. I love to write. So for me, writing is not something that I struggle to. Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now? Is that better? I should probably keep an eye on this. Okay. I don't know if the mic, sorry, I didn't mean to drop you guys. I don't know if I turned the mic off or if it died, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Okay, so I was just saying, I started a writing camp last year in 2024, and we had about 5 authors join, and we all worked on our books throughout the course of that month. And then we started it again in April of 2025, and we had a couple people actually finish their books in April of 2025. So that was really exciting. And we were working together from a co-working perspective. So essentially what we do is we drop 4 to 5 events a week where we can all get on, work together, have some time together and get our work done. So we set goals at the beginning of the camp and we make sure that we are prepared. So prep week for this camp starts September 17th. And then what we'll do is we'll work on our book through the month of October. So I think that gives you the general gist of it. And I'd love to just open it up. So if you all have questions about what is a writing camp, what are we going to accomplish, who can join, maybe you have questions about how much is it to join, whatever that looks like, you can drop those into the chat. And like I said, I'm working from both TikTok and YouTube right now. So you feel free to ask me any questions in either space and we'll make sure that we get them answered. So one of the things I was trying to touch on as I started this live was what prompted me to start the writing camp. And in part, it was because I needed the accountability, and I needed to make sure that I was writing my books. But it was also because I have a really large network of authors, and I wanted to bring them together for something more substantial than just an occasional sprint here and there. And I was used to writing my book through NaNoWriMo, which, if you're not familiar with what NaNoWriMo is, it's a nonprofit organization, and they took National Novel Writing Month, which is in November, and they put up a website, and a bunch of authors would join and work on their books. And the goal was to finish our books before the end of November. So that was great, but there was some controversy with NaNoWriMo. Some of the kind of back end things, there were some weird SA things going on, and just some very ableist policies, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of people were steering clear from NaNoWriMo, and I just have always enjoyed the author community in general, so that we can work together and make sure our books get done. The author community in general is very giving, very open. If you find a really great author community, they will share any information with you whatsoever. So any information about your book, publishing, what their experiences were, it's just a really great space to be in. So with that said, I have a few general questions here that I thought that I might start with, and then I'm monitoring the chat right now. So if you have questions, drop them into the chat. Let me know. Do me a favor and hit the like button. My cat's like, hey, I'm stuck in this office with you, and I don't want to be. I get you in a minute, honey. Yeah. So I think we'll start with some general questions. I put some together through my community and through friends of mine who thought that I thought they might have questions as we go. So I'm going to take those and answer those. And then, like I said, I'll monitor the chat. So what are the biggest challenges writers face when trying to establish a consistent writing practice? I think it depends on the writer. For me, it's the fact that consistent schedules don't always appeal to me. So I have ADHD, and I believe that I'm on the spectrum. I have not been officially diagnosed, but one of our writers who completed her book in the last writing camp, she is publishing a book right now, and she talks about the differences between autism and ADHD. And when she shared that, I definitely know now that I have autism. So being that I'm autistic, I need that structure. I need that schedule. But having that schedule doesn't always suffice with my ADHD. So I really utilize tools like body doubling to make sure that I am able to move forward and get the work done that I do. And I actually do a co-working almost every single day to ensure that I'm getting my general work done, much less writing a book. But I think some of the biggest challenges that we face when we're trying to write a book as an author is, in general, we have lives, right? So we might have a job or a business that we're trying to get down. I know you're upset right now. Get down. She's not going to mention, or he's not going to mention stuff over in my office here. So we have a bunch of things that are going on in our lives. Sometimes we have families, we have social lives, we have our own health we have to look at, and we have jobs and businesses that we run. So there's a lot of things that create obstacles for us when it comes to writing for our books. So the writing camp helps me to stay consistent because I have to show up. I have a community that I'm doing, and I have to show up for my writers. And if you join, I ask you to set goals, and the goal is for you to show up. So we make it interactive, we make it fun, and we make it someplace that you want to be while you're writing your book, which makes it a little bit easier for you to get down that path of finishing your book and getting it situated. So it helps us to overcome some of those obstacles. One of the things that we know in our writers camp right now is we actually have people worldwide. So, well, I wouldn't say worldwide. We have people from Europe to Alaska. So knowing that we have that big spectrum of time zones, we try to offer at least one co-working in each time zone every week. So I have a few other of our writing camp participants from April and November who are actually going to be helping me run co-working sessions so that we can make sure that we're offering a wide variety of times. And that will hopefully help you to create some consistent practices. And as you test some of these times out, find what's working for you. Like, where is your headspace? Where does that resonate with you? Like, when you sit down for that specific co-working, does that light you up? Does that give you what you need to complete your book? Are you getting, bursts of being able to write words and break through writing block? And if you are, put those on your calendar even after writing camp is over. Okay, so the next question is, how did I develop my own writing routine, and what unexpected lessons did I learn along the way? Hi. He wants out. I'm going to let him out here in just a little bit. In a minute. Okay. Find a spot to lay down for right now. For my own writing routine, I don't have one, which is kind of contradictory to what I'm saying. But I found that I have a monthly cycle. So, and it really does have to do with my hormones. So it really is kind of synced up with my cycle, but I have certain days where being face to face like this gives me a bunch of energy and I can do it all day long and not have a problem. And then I have some days where I need to kind of recluse and not do anything. And then I have certain times that I can get a whole lot of stuff done. And knowing that, and knowing that there are certain times, a lot of times I will work within that to ensure that I'm getting my writing done. So I will actually block off entire days or the time frames in between meetings, and I will just sit and write the whole time. I think one of the challenges that I personally have had is that I have 4 or 5 book ideas that I'm working on in any time. And I think a lot of writing coaches and book coaches will tell you, like, pick an idea and stick to it. But my writing style doesn't work like that. Sometimes I get inspired to write on a specific book and I'll write on that book for a while. So for creating camps like this, it's helpful for me because then I can pick a book and I have a sprint that I write on it. So for instance, my nonfiction novel, my goal is to get that done this writing camp in October. And it should be done in October. So every co-working that we have for the writing camp, I'm going to set that aside to only write, which is a whole other thing because sometimes I do other things instead of write. So it's about holding yourself accountable during those time periods to make sure that you're doing the thing that you set out and the intention that you set before you got started in that particular session. Just a reminder, if you're watching this and you have questions, drop those into chat for me. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this after the fact, post live, you can still drop those questions into the chat, and I will try to get back to you and answer those as we go. Or you can feel free to click the link in the description and join through that. If you're watching from TikTok, the LINK is in my bio, and you can actually just scroll down and it's there within the link tree. Okay, so what are some of the most surprising benefits writers have discovered through community-based writing practice? Well, one, it's the accountability to actually get your writing done. That's number one. So we have people who are struggling to finish their books, who have the accountability set up and make up for this, and then can push through and get significant progress, if not finish their books. The other benefits, at least for this particular writing camp, is that I have taken, hi, darling, I have taken all of the curated information that I know about publishing, editing, writing, and I've dropped them into a course framework that you get access to when you join the writing camp. So when you join the writing camp, you get access to all of the co-working that we're doing, the coursework and materials that I found, as well as community chats that you can actually access via app on your phone or through the computer. And you can keep up with the other writers in the camp, as well as posting and sharing about what you are working on while we're going through the process as well. So the first benefit is accountability. The second one is all of the information that you have from an author community who understands what it is to publish your book and put your book out there and get everything situated. Hi, Elizabeth, welcome. So those are the most important benefits, I think, from joining something like the Wyrd Writing Camp. What can participants expect during a typical session? So realistically, what we do from a co-working perspective is when you join a co-working call in the writing camp, it is run like sprints. And if you're not familiar with what sprints are, or Pomodoro timers are, essentially they are just blocks of time. So depending on who's running the sprint, we might do a 25-minute sprint and a 5-minute check-in where we write for 25 minutes and then we spend 5 minutes just checking in, making sure that we're actually writing, holding ourselves accountable to each other. And then we go back in and we do another 25 minutes of writing and then 5 minutes. Other people who run these might do a 50 or 55 and then some time. My favorites are 50 minutes of writing and then 10 minutes of checking in, chatting, having a conversation. So those are like the basic concepts from the co-working sessions. And it's not always timed. Some people will just join the co-working session and then run all the way through to the end and then come back and check in at the end. So hi, Joe, welcome. So if that's something that is appealing to you, just let the person that's working through that camp or that specific session know what your preference is. And a lot of times we can adjust based on who's joining and what everybody wants in the room. But we also run extra sessions. So we have a few coaching sessions, ask an editor anything sessions, where if you, again, are looking to publish a book, having your questions answered by an editor or someone who's published their book before is super helpful. I am also going to be working with Laura Guerra from balancedaid.com. Laura's going to be running a content planning session. So just like with anything where you are writing a book and you're publishing something and you're sharing information, any of that happens, and you have to be able to market it, right? You have to be able to sell it. So we actually are working with Laura. She's going to be doing a content planning. So any social media app that you're on, she's going to help you plan out your social media content for the following month. We usually run 2 ask the editors sessions, and we're looking to incorporate 2 or 3 feedback sessions as well. So you can come in and share a piece of your work and then get feedback on it. So it's a lot. There's a lot of offerings in the virtual writing camp for you, whether it's getting feedback or, getting help on the business side of writing a book, or whether it's just finishing your book. So all of that will be available for you. How does a virtual one differ from in-person workshops? Well, I think that's obvious, right? One, virtually, we're able to run it on platforms like Zoom or, Google Meets or whatever, and we don't have to put any clothes on and go out and, be in public. We can just write from the comfort of our home. Not to say that you can't take your laptop or your phone with you and write elsewhere, but it's kind of giving you that convenience to write anywhere. Welcome, Courtney. If you have any questions, if you're viewing, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok, you have any questions about the writing camp, just put it in the chat for me and I'll make sure and I get it answered for you. The other benefit from the virtual aspect is, like I said a few questions ago, we cater to Europe through like Alaska, Hawaii time zones. So if you're within those, sometimes it's really hard to find people who want to co-work with you in those time zones. This allows you to have that difference in time zones and make sure that you have at least one session a week that you can utilize. Let's see. What are some of the most memorable breakthrough moments I've witnessed in previous camps? This last camp was pretty awesome. We had a couple of authors who actually finished up writing their books. And I think for me, some of the big parts of it, sorry, my dog's barking. Some of the big parts of it is not just the fact that they got progress done on their books, but they were able to create that consistent writing practice. And so if they weren't able to finish, they were able to do something afterwards. So I think for the one situation, we have an author who was working on her book from an ADHD and autism perspective. So she's been dual diagnosed, and she was working on her book and she was just struggling to get through because as she was sorting through her work, she was like, it's so scattered. It's all over the place. So between me and one of the editors and a couple of the other networks that we have, we were actually able to get her across the finish line. And she's well into the publishing process now. She's got a book cover and it's in the editing process. And I think she reached out to me earlier this week actually and asked what she should price her books at. So super exciting when things like that happen and we can get people through writer's blocks and get them progress on their books. Let's see. What's my favorite writing exercise or prompt? So that's one of the other things. Kelly, who is one of our participants in our writing camp, actually puts up prompts every day. So if you're struggling and you're trying to get through a writing block and you're not quite sure, you can check the chats for the prompts and those get posted each day. But I think my favorite writing practice is one of the tools that I actually use called For the Wyrds, and it's the number 4, thewyrds.com. And I really love For the Wyrds because it is quite literally a game for writers. You join For the Wyrds and you get to do quests and vanquish monsters and defeat monsters through the words that you're writing. So some of them are, you have to write a certain amount of words in a certain amount of time. Some of them are what they call sprinting monsters, where you get a certain time and you have to keep writing through that time. Those are exciting as well. So I love that. And that's one of the sprints that we offer in the writing camp as well, is a For the Wyrds sprint. Kelly will actually be running that for us this time. And I'm super excited to see those as well, because I love For the Wyrds. I think it's great. I am just looking here to see if there's any other questions. I'm not seeing any. Again, if you have questions, feel free to put those down in the bottom. I'm I'm trying to write my book, but I feel like who would listen to me anyway? Yeah, that's imposter syndrome. And that is something normal. A lot of us have that. I think as we start to write, we get to a certain point and then we're like, wait, hold on. Why am I doing this? Who's going to want to read it anyway? But this is what I tell everyone who joins our writing camp. You have a story to tell. There's only one person who can tell your story. That's you. So you are the only person who's experienced your life through your lens of perspective. You're the only person who can share your story in a way that impacts the people around you and the people who would read your book. You can be writing about the same topic that there are 100 books written about, and your story will resonate with someone that those other 100 books won't resonate with them at all. So if you're interested in writing your own book and you're worried about, well, I think I might have a story, or I think I should write a book, but I really don't know what to say, or who's going to want to listen to me anyway. Those are types of conversations that we have in the virtual writing camp because we all deal with it. And if you aren't quite sure what you want to write about, I encourage you to join us. If you know that writing a book is something that you want to do, join us September 17th for our first prep session, and we can talk through that and kind of get you to a space where you'd like to. So the links to join the writing camp are in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're here on TikTok, it is in the in my bio in the link tree. And those particular links will take you directly to the writing camp. If you aren't 100% sure if you want to join and you'd like to join maybe another Q&A session, or if you have questions, you can reach out to me directly and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And again, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. If you have questions, you can put those in the chat and I'll answer those in the chat. I'm going to check here and see what types of writers should join. I'm a romance writer and you're talking about nonfiction. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Any genre is welcome. We do have a lot of nonfiction writers that are in there right now. And that's a lot of, because that's the circles that I just run in, are a lot of business owners who are business owners with a purpose and who help people because of what they've experienced in life. So if you're interested in writing a nonfiction, there's definitely a space for you. If you're interested in writing a romance, a fantasy, a sci-fi novel, there's space for you too. Sorry, my phone is dying. We have a lot of writers who are, or a lot of people in general who read multiple writers, multiple genres. I personally write both nonfiction, and then I also write romance and sci-fi and fantasy as well. I just do that under a pen name, so you won't find that under my direct name. So if you're interested in my pen name, let me know and I'll share it. But I want to let you know that it doesn't really matter what genre you're looking at writing in or what genre you're used to writing in. You can join us and join any of the co-working sessions and work within whatever genre you're interested in working in. So yeah, let me look here and see. I want to make sure I've got all of the questions answered. I got that one. Okay, so I think I've answered all of them. I will go ahead and just address some just general information before I hop off. So again, the LINKs to join are in the description if you're watching from the tube, and if you're watching from the Clock app, they are in the link tree. So you can sign up through those. You'll see that there's a minimum payment of $35. And the reason for that is because, one, we put a lot of time and energy into curating the co-working sessions, curating all of the information that we've brought together for the course that comes with that on how to write a book, how to publish a book, etc. So you're getting a lot. You're getting quite literally 6 or 7 days a week. You're going to have some sort of event that's going to be on your calendar that you can join and work with us. You're also getting the community support, so the chat option, and you're getting the access to the course. And that's a one-time payment of $35. And you're there until you're done with your book or until you decide to leave. If you're interested in joining and getting more support than just for this month, we also have a community. I host a community called the Rebel Dream Lab, and the Rebel Dream Lab is all about helping entrepreneurs or just people in general who are sick of doing things the same old way that we've always done them, right? Maybe you want to write a book and become an author, and you don't want to work a full-time job anymore, so you're interested in starting a business. Maybe you have a mission or a vision that you're trying to change the world with and help people in that way. Whatever it is, whatever way that you are taking a stand and not doing things. Oh no, it's dying. Thank you, Sam. Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah. Okay, good. I hope it wasn't dead for a long time, but I was just saying that from the standpoint of how much is it to join, it's $35. You get the whole month plus the 2 weeks of prep sessions. You get several, once October starts, we have sessions planned every day. So you get 7 co-working sessions and accountability sessions throughout the month. You also get access to the chats, and then you get access to the curated course that I've put together to help you move from writing your book and getting your book finished to publishing your book, if that's something that you're interested in. And if you're interested in joining the writing camp every time we have it, and you are also interested in maybe creating a business or a vision around kind of pushing against norms and doing things your own way, we have the Rebel Dream Lab, and the Rebel Dream Lab, it's $37 a month. So it's $2 more for access to all of those components as well. So the courses that we have on the Rebel Dream Lab, as well as the chats, the features, and the extra coaching sessions that are within that as well. So if you're interested in writing a book, join us for the Writing Wyrds camp. If you're interested in becoming a rebel entrepreneur or a rebel change maker, and you'd like to join us for the Dream Lab as well, that option is available to you too. So I'm going to stick around for just a minute or two more in case anybody that's joined in the last minute or two has additional questions. You can drop those into the chat. And I'm just going to make sure I've got everybody answered here. Okay. I'm not seeing anything additionally come in. Like I said earlier, if you're watching through the Tube app, you can put it into the chat and I will answer it as we go. If you're watching through the Clock app, please feel free to send me a message if you have questions, and I'll answer those as soon as I see them. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great afternoon.